We're live! Yay! How are we all? Are we good on this Friday? Has everyone got that Friday feeling? I know I have.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Wicked. Well, you've had the Friday feeling the whole week, have you, Richard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I'm back at college, so I'm going college work again. So.
Oh, mate, life is so hard having to go to college. Well, but not go to college. Yeah, but welcome back to Free2talk TV this week. I'm joined down below by Richard, who has come on to support us yet again, and on my left is Parker. So, how's your first week been back at college, Richard, since the half term?
Stressful.
Stressful. What?
Getting everything done because my teachers want to get stuff done right now.
Right now? Well, they don't even give you a break.
No. I have 3 units going.
Yeah.
One of them, well, 2 of them they say will take till Easter, and one of them is going to be like, you can get it done like next month. So you're getting these done right now, and I'm like, calm down.
I need it next week, but right now. That sounds a bit like university for you, Parker, isn't it? Because you haven't had a break.
No, not since Christmas.
No, not since Christmas. Because we were just discussing before we came live, like you both staying up till like between 3 and 5 in the morning because Richard likes to watch the wrestling, but Parker has to do essays. which kind of, I'm sure you're both, one of you is going, that's really unfair. Right, anyway, welcome to Free2talk TV. Please give us a like, please give us a comment for anything we are talking about. Come say hi. We can just show you saying hi on the stream to everybody else. But this week we are going to be talking about the roadmap from government a little bit, because it will affect youth work and what we are doing from next week. So if any young people are watching, you can come on and ask questions. Any adults with young people going, why can't I get them out of my house? Please take them away from me. If you're that parent, then you can come on and get some of the questions answered. So without further ado, how are we both feeling after the information came out from Boris Johnson this week about the roadmap? Richard, as our youngest young person.
I'm all right with it. I feel like they've done good timestamps. There's just one thing that I've heard many people say this: they're opening like June 21st. People thinking that they opened it too early.
Which because June 21st is still like 3 months away.
Yeah, but if all I'm saying is if they keep going with the vaccine, we should be good.
Yeah. That's cool. Well, we're going to go into more details with those stuff as we go through and talk about them as we go. But Parker, what's your gut feeling at the initial part of the news?
I don't know. I'm just sort of at that point now where I feel that if it doesn't matter what you do, something's always going to sort of come up, or somebody's going to make a.
Oh, that's a very negative point of view,
argument.
Parker. We need to change that. We need to.
It's true though, because we opened almost everything back up before, and we're back in lockdown.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can understand the fear going on. I mean, I've just been in one massive lockdown myself. Anyway, I haven't really been out at all since March last year. I think the last time I was allowed out was my birthday this time last year, and then we got put into lockdown because I was obviously very naughty on my birthday.
We'll all stand outside your house with banners and confetti going everywhere.
Yay! Just so everyone knows, it is my birthday next Thursday. Thank you very much for the birthday greeting. So I'm actually not here next week. That's the bad news, but we'll cover that later. So the roadmap, you're feeling a bit negative about it, Parker. You're worried, should we say? Which I'm sure lots of people are, because you may be thinking, well, just what's the point? We're going to get put back in lockdown anyway. Is that fair?
Well, I mean, if people are responsible and follow the rules where they can, we'll be in a better position in a couple of months than what we will do if sort of it carries on the way that we've been going. Yeah. But it's things like today I found out I won't be having a face-to-face graduation ceremony in July, but you can go to clubs. And I know the graduation ceremony was the uni's decision, but there's a lot of arguments to and for, and I can see both sides. But I don't know. I'm just feeling quite anxious about it all, really.
I, to be honest, would say feeling anxious about the whole thing is a completely fair way to feel. It's completely normal with everything we've gone through, the amount of people that have died of coronavirus in the UK. I mean, just last week, my family lost a family friend to COVID, which was very difficult. So it's very close to home for a lot of people. But I kind of as well, because I think it's because I've been in lockdown so long, I'm just like, yes, I want to run around outside. I want to give someone a hug. If everyone's had the vaccination and we're allowed to do this, then we need to get back to some kind of normality. But I'm still following socially distance, so I'm not going to run and hug a random person who doesn't want to be hugged. So you're safe from me, Parker and Richard. Okay, you got nothing to worry about. So as we are talking about this 4-step guide, if anyone has any comments or any questions as we're talking about it, or want to just put in your two pence, as it were, please give us a comment. So I'm going to bring up the first bit now. So the first bit is step 1, 8th of March. So I think the most important thing here that has been said by the government and has been greeted by a lot of people is education. Schools and colleges open for all students. I mean, Richard, so you're at college. I mean, I know Owen, he's still off at the moment. Like, he does like a theatre studies course at college, and he's absolutely gagging to go back because obviously you need to act with other people. That's part of the course. How are you feeling with your course, about going back?
I wanted to be March 9th right now. I want to go back to college. Yeah, I don't go on Monday. Go to college on Monday, so I get March 9th because the work I have left to do is all practicals, and I have to be at the college. So next week, I'm just gonna be like, I'm just gonna have to look through this work again, make sure everything's good.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that makes sense because you've obviously got to a stage with your work where you've completed it, which you can show off about actually that you've done so well through the lockdown. You've got to this stage where you got that final hurdle, and then your college course is done really, or that module, as it were. What about university for you, Parker?
Well, they've released guidance recently, and if I remember correctly, the courses that more of the practical courses and those who need to use the facilities on campus can go back on the 8th of March after having rapid testing, and then they will release guidance in April for the other courses. And obviously I finish in April, so I won't be going back to university this year. I won't be going back on campus.
No.
And I mean, I can see why they've done it. I completely respect their decision and I agree with what they're doing. So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
You can only do what you can do.
I mean, it does bring up. So we had a conference yesterday with Public Health England, and we had a few young people because it was in school time, so they came to have comments, and there was a few comments from young people actually themselves about they're worried about all schools and colleges going back at the same time, so primary, secondary, and college, like bang done. There's been some worry about that. I mean, have you thought about it, either of you, about a staggered going back for like primary school, secondary schools, college, or are you just like, we need to go back?
For me, I want it like, for my course, we have to go back. We have no choice to pass this course. Others, I can see why the government wants us all back, but I feel like if this is going to get worse again, just try and split them off.
Yeah.
Half there, half not.
Yeah. What about you, Parker?
I think it's going to be a lot of stress on the schools and the colleges to prepare for everybody to go back.
Yeah.
And I think as well, like, the staggered return doesn't just help the schools and the teachers, but it'd also limit that contact time just that little bit more between year groups.
Yeah, I mean, I think, do you know what? There might be an argument that staggered going back might be better for young people as well, because obviously they've gone from having no contact at all with the educational system and their friends, and then all at once, and it might be a bit overwhelming for some people. You know, there's that risk. But my concern about this, I don't know if everyone else shares it, is have teachers been vaccinated?
That's a couple of things my teacher's been saying. Like,
Yeah,
okay, we're like in the less vulnerable, but some of the teachers at the college are, I say, around 50s. I'm like, have they been vaccinated? Are they going to be in the college teaching still?
I mean, because for me it's a worry, because I mentioned this the family friend that died last week, and they were 57. Okay, died of coronavirus, and that is an age where people are still working because the retirement age has gone up. Thank you, government. But Richard will be working until he's turned into a robot, basically, powered by a hamster wheel at the back. So, should we actually look at getting teachers a vaccination a priority then as soon as possible? Because even though coronavirus is not as risky for young people, surely there are some teachers that need protection, and also how many of those teachers actually have a health issue that puts them at risk? So you could have a lack of teachers, maybe. What are your thoughts, Parker?
I agree with you. You know, teachers, they are putting themselves at risk going back to school, and I feel like the government is only focusing on the return to school for the young people, rather than protecting everybody involved. So I completely agree with you there, and I think that teachers should be prioritised for vaccination.
Yeah. You agree, Richard, as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, cool. I mean, because I think there's this. It's me just spitballing here. There's this idea in our society of what a frontline service is. You know, when I say frontline service, I'm sure everyone thinks hospitals, police, fire service, don't you? Frontline service. But there are certain other professions that without them, society cannot progress, and one of them is teachers. I would argue. Then you've got kind of subsidiary workers, say, who run the power plants, who run the sewer works, you know, who clean the streets, who work in Tesco's so we can have food. And there's always, I think there's this massive disconnect between what kind of job is important and what job isn't. And people are worried about facing the idea. I mean, what job do you consider frontline that isn't technically frontline, if any?
Well, you've got those who work in the factories. Again, teachers are those who like power the energy. You've also got
people that work in care homes as well.
Yeah, you've got like BT Internet who do a lot of like the wiring. There's a box outside my house, and they've been there a good couple of times in the past couple of weeks.
Sorry, I'm just going to interrupt because this is Michael Sheargill, who's a really, really old friend of mine, really good friend of mine, who's currently teaching in Thailand. So it's different over here in Thailand for teachers. So, Michael, let us know how different it is, how they're coping with the coronavirus out there. Let us know. Yeah. So Richard, what anything frontline you think that isn't, or just is it generally we're all in agreement that the more consideration should be taken?
I think more should be taken.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Right. I'm going to bring this up because this affects our youth work. So business activities, so wraparound care, including after-school sports to enable parents to work. Now, you're free to talk. Our youth work charity are looking at this next week. I can't answer all questions today from young people or parents based in Northampton, but they are preparing a plan next week on how youth work is going to operate moving forward after this date. And I mainly think it's down to this activity idea. So what we'll be allowed to do, because I don't think many people know this, but as a youth worker, Parker, me and you are considered essential workers now. Which changed a while ago. So yeah, there are going to be some plans on how to get young people back into some kind of semblance of what our youth clubs were before coronavirus. But there isn't going to be a rush towards that. But yeah, if you do want those questions answered, then I'm off next week, as I said. Please ask other youth workers online, or if you've got their numbers, say a message. But all the updates will be on our Free to Talk CIC page and Instagram, probably, and I'm sure we've got a Twitter somewhere. I really need to get back on Twitter. Really, it's very important. Right, so social contact. Was that an I? You agree with me?
I haven't been on Twitter for like. When did lockdown start? When did the first lockdown start?
Last year. I don't know. It's all melded into one.
Last year.
It's like I haven't been on Twitter since Donald Trump got kicked off because it wasn't fun anymore. Right, so social contact, exercise and recreation with your household or one person in a public space. Picnic or coffee is allowed. Household only indoors. Care home residents in England can nominate a single name visitor for regular visits. I think that is the most important thing about the social contact, especially in care homes, because we're hitting our vaccination targets like massively well. I think now it's been given to the NHS to organise rather than the fraudulent track and trace. But well done to Tories for giving your friends jobs they weren't qualified for. But yeah, we've got this vaccination rollout, which is going really well. In Northampton, it's hit 200,000 vaccinations, which is excellent. But we'll touch on that a bit later. So larger events, funerals can happen, weddings and wakes, but travel is still stay at home, no domestic or international holidays. Continuing with that step one, it's kind of two-part because we're looking at the end of March as well. So organised outdoor sports will be allowed from the 29th of March for children and adults. So that really affects what we're doing for youth work. So outdoor sport and leisure activities, all outdoor children's activities, outdoor parent and child groups. Now, is that exciting for you both to be able to have a game of football or whatever with someone else without having to worry about invading personal privacy? What do you reckon?
Look, if I don't play football, but if I have to play football to get back with my friends, I'm going.
Same as Richard.
We're gonna have an upkeep of people wanting to play football, hate the sport. So I've just got an answer from my mate Michael. I'm just going to put this in. So people in Southeast Asia followed the guidelines far more stringently than in the West. As a result, a lot of schools are open again, bars, etc., but some are still closed and teaching online. It's about the attitude here more than anything. So, I mean, I've seen the stats for like lots of stuff in Southeast Asia, and they've smashed coronavirus and done really well, which maybe we need to take a cue out of their book, but who knows. Then we've got the rule of 6 of 2 households, household only indoors, and then travel, just minimize travel. So there's a 2-part to this step 1 for March, where eventually we'll be able to meet in larger groups at the end of March. Are we excited about that?
Yes.
Yes. I miss my friends.
Yeah, you miss your friend. I miss the young people. I miss everybody. I miss real people.
Sorry? See me in person.
Well, yeah. I just want to see people face to face rather than through a screen for a change. It'll just be. I mean, I'll still see people through a screen because, Richard, you're obviously beating me on the Twitch wars at the moment, and I still need to carry that on. You wait. I'll come for you. And Michael, I speak to. Oh yeah, I should we'll put this on the stream. Speak to Gavin Kelly at the GLK Academies with regards to sports and schools and after-school clubs. We shall make a note of that, Parker, won't we? So we can pass it on to the rest of the team. We might already have his contact somewhere, but we'll have to have a look. Right, so that is step 1. That's a lot of steps in step 1, but step 2, boom. So no earlier than the 12th of April, so at least 5 weeks after step 1. So this is where a lot of stuff could happen. Thanks, Michael. You just like to say there's a really good show. Thanks, Michael. We stream every Friday between 5 and 6. We have been doing it since the beginning of the first lockdown. I just wasn't streaming it on my personal Facebook. I just started doing that as well. So business activities, so all retail, personal care, libraries and community centres. Community centres are important for us because that's where we run our youth clubs out of. Most outdoor attractions, gyms, self-contained accommodation, all children's activities, outdoor hospitality, indoor parent and child groups. So anything there that really jumps out at either one of you that you're like, oh yes, I can't wait for that, or I'm not sure about that. What do you reckon?
To be honest, all of
it. Go on, Richard, carry on.
Just to be honest, all of it. Definitely the community centre, because I get to go to the community centre again for Free to Talk.
Yeah. I should point out that by that time the weather will be nicer, so
yeah.
We'll be doing more stuff outside anyway.
We'll be outside anyway. You damn you, coronavirus.
You know, if this is going to be the plan, it's a good time they opened it.
Yeah. I mean, the coronavirus cases and deaths are going down. The R rate is going down steadily, and I think we're finally doing okay. But I think, Parker, you may have you still got some reservations about opening because of the anxiety, possibly about any of these things?
Well, I'd like to see everything open, and I really do look forward to when it does. But that anxiety over whether it's going to be safe enough is a big problem for me. Because my mum, because they've extended the clinically extremely vulnerable list, my mum is now part of extremely clinically vulnerable.
Okay.
So obviously we were careful around it before, but now that's built up that anxiety within the family of whether we are doing the right thing by going to the shop and getting some milk.
Yeah.
But the main things I'm looking forward to is like obviously the libraries and the community centres, because that's where a lot of like youth work and other organisations like us are based. And also indoor leisure and gyms, because that means we can start getting healthy again.
Healthy?
I know.
I'm just going to say, healthy. Even though these are all open, some stores may still say wear a mask, or they say you could still wear a mask until you feel like COVID has gone. And then in the first one, like I'm expecting when, let's say, June 21st come around, I'm still expecting to see people in masks.
Is that a bad thing?
No.
I'm going to continue wearing masks anyway.
I mean, with my personal situation, obviously I haven't been allowed out. I mean, I'm still wearing a mask now to do anything, really. But I mean, I think there's this thing where your conspiracy theory, the conspiracy theory is going, you're such a sheep, you sheeple, wearing a mask, rah, rah, rah. And it's like, does it affect you? We've had this argument about talking about people's sexuality or gender identity. Does it affect you? Who cares? I mean, it's almost as if wearing a mask and washing your hands not only prevents coronavirus, but most other viruses as well. It's almost like being clean is a good thing. Who'd
would imagine?
So my mate Michael, he's just put this stuff about Thailand cases updated on the February 27th. 25,000 cases. So is that 83 deaths? 83 deaths, I think, or 25.
25,809 cases, 45 deaths, 83 recovered.
Yeah, there we go.
And how many still got left in talk with COVID?
That is mad, isn't it? That kind of rate of it's just crazy. Because obviously in Asia, I mean, like Japan is a big one for it. They wear masks all of the time, and it's geared towards like pollution. But I think it's just they wear it out of consideration for other people. So like if they've got a cold or flu, they wear a mask so they don't infect anybody else, and make sure they're clean. Is anyone else mind boggled by by some of this? It's like, no, I'm not going to wash my hands. I'm going to cover them in dirt and eat the dirt. Is anyone else like? Is it just me? Just me. Michael just confirmed it's 83 deaths. I mean, that's just mad, crazy. Now, the other thing about this, though, because I think we need to touch on it. So it says outdoor hospitality, because the hospitality industry, because as we all know, I used to work in pubs because I go on it quite a lot. People are really torn for this about whether hospitality should reopen at all, or whether hospitality should just be allowed to open anyway. What do you reckon, Parker? Should pubs and clubs just open along with all retail?
I don't think it's a necessity to go to the pub necessarily as it is much having other retail shops open.
It's my birthday next week.
The retail that isn't classed as essential as things like Primark and all these other clothing shops, and we need clothes because I know that when Primark opened after the last lockdown finished, there was a very long queue, but most of the people in that queue was parents and children of, where kids are growing out of their clothes.
Yeah.
The only place I can get clothes is Morrison's and Asda. So at the moment, I'm wearing through all of my clothes. So when this lockdown's over, I'm getting a new wardrobe when I get the money, sort of thing. And
just be like, nope, doesn't fit. Oh, I have one outfit left. I might as well just go now.
But like opening pubs, do we really need to open pubs right now?
Well, so just to throw it in there, if we don't open the pubs soon, there's going to be no pubs at all.
Yeah, I can see that.
They're all going out of business. The same could be said for all these shops. Unless we get back to some kind of normality, we're not going to have any of these businesses. People's lives are going to be ruined, and I'm not going to be able to go to the pub for my birthday ever again. What do you reckon, Richard? What are you thinking about this?
I think I read somewhere that what I think they should do is a certain amount of people can be in. Also, I think I read somewhere that some pubs, they're not opening fully. You can just sit outside.
Yeah, that's the idea with the outdoor hospitality. So if you've got a beer garden or, a space on the street for some like European style pubs and restaurants and what, yeah, carry on.
But I'm expecting them to do a limit for people. It really does depend on how big your garden is. If you have a big garden, it's how big it is.
I live in a flat, so I don't even have a normal garden. So it's like, damn you. So that's why I can't wait for the hot weather, so I can just go down the park and feed the squirrels because I like doing that. So I've just got another comment from Michael. Let's put it up. I don't think England is ready for the hospitality industry to be open again. I'm dubious about the schools, to be honest, but then I'm making comparisons with how it has been dealt with here. You're always going to have that risk with anywhere opening. I mean, I think personally, because I've still got friends in the pub trade, a lot of those people that run those licensed premises have made so much effort to make their places of business as safe as possible, and in a lot of cases safer than any other retail around, including like Tesco's, Aldi, Lidl, the whole lot of them. Yeah. But I know your comment about clothes, Parker. You can order them online, can't you?
Yeah, but it's weird because I'm in between sizes, and obviously sizes are different for every company.
Yeah.
And I know you can read the measurements and stuff on their website, but that's still not an accurate measurement. So for me, I have to try it on to know whether it fits or not.
And then contaminate all the things you've tried on.
Exactly. That's my plan.
I know what you mean, because I've got weird hobbit feet, so I've got really wide feet. So my shoe size changes between a 9 and an 11.
Right.
Depending on the make of the shoe. So Michael again has said, if there is a 2-week incubation period, the UK should go into absolute shutdown for 3 weeks. I tell you what, after the first time I've been to a pub, I'm going to an absolute shutdown for 3 weeks afterwards. But he has mentioned there's a pub in Northampton called the Pomfret Arms, went over and above the Call of Duty. They've got a huge garden. It is one of my favourite pubs in Northampton. The garden is beautiful, trees, grass, but they have the space for it. So not every business has that opportunity. Right, so continue on the steps. So funerals and weddings can have more people. Event pilots, which is a very weird thing, but I presume it's for me if I go, I want to start a new business in events, and they go, do you want to pilot your idea? And I go, yeah. And that's all that is. Domestic overnight stays, household only. So that would be, for example, my family live in Kent, me traveling all that way and staying overnight, I suppose, in a shared house. No international holidays still. Yeah. So how are we feeling about that travel stuff in there? About no international holidays? Actually, I mean, have either one of you been abroad?
No.
No?
No.
No? So camping holidays in the UK, is that basically what it is?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Me too. So no change for us then. Let's move on to step 3. Right, so step 3, no earlier than the 17th of May. Right, so we're getting into, spring, summer, the warmth is happening. And here we've got indoor hospitality, indoor entertainment and attractions, organised indoor sport, remaining accommodation, and remaining outdoor entertainment. So for me, what that says, to be honest, is everything's open. What do you reckon? Do you kind of agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's open. Now, obviously, whether the 17th of May is too early for this stuff to open, this is all going by the R rating and what's going on, isn't it? Sorry, Michael just put in about the borders. The borders in Thailand have been pretty much locked down since March 2020. And they've only had 83 deaths. How strange is this? What? Maybe their government did a better job. But, I can't say that because I'm such a supporter of our current government. So maximum 30 people outdoors for social contact. Indoors, up to 6 people or a larger group from 2 households only. So there's still this limit on household mixing. Do we have any thoughts on that? This limit on what you're allowed to do going around your mate's house and stuff?
So you can go out and mix with people that's not in your household in like a pub and indoor hospitality and indoor sport areas, but you can't mix with your friends and people.
Yeah.
Boggles my mind.
Yeah. So I think this is something that confuses a lot of people, right? And the only way the only thoughts I can base it on is households of multiple occupancy, so HMOs. Do either one even know much about them? No. So what a household of multiple occupancy is where you've got multiple generations of one family living in one household. So you'll have young kids, parents, grandparents, and in some cases great grandparents. Yeah, all living in the same house. So I feel that this is almost unfairly targeting minority groups in the UK. Because you've got, so take a Muslim family that may have that kind of extended family unit within a household because it's cultural for them sometimes from the countries they've come from to kind of do that. Do we have any thoughts on that at all?
I think this is like the government guidance really only benefits sort of the rich and those who are better off. Like we said a couple of weeks ago about the fines, for someone who's got loads and loads of money, the fines isn't a problem. But for someone who, has low income, then it's a really big problem to the point that you may never even be able to pay that off.
Yeah.
So really, it's only targeting those on low income than anybody else. Yeah.
I mean, Michael, so Asian families fit into that group. I mean, yeah, you can see his picture. He's my mate, Michael. Yeah. I just feel like it's unfairly targeting minorities there. So up to 6 people or a large group from 2 households only. I think it's weird. So, Michael, again, culturally, the elderly are taken care of within the family unless they specifically need medical care. Yeah, so it is a cultural thing. But you do find in lots of areas where we work in around Northampton, due to poverty, you've got families, large families or mixed families, so like cousins or brother and sister with their husband or wife or whatever and their children all living in one house because they can't afford anywhere else. And the only way they can afford that is by pooling their money together. Do either of you know any examples like that or have seen that?
It's not the same, but I'm looking at moving out of my student flat and into my own place, but it was really expensive for your own place. Yeah. So I spoke to one of my friends and they said, well, it'd be cheaper for me as well. So when my contract ends, we're going to look at a place together because it'll be cheaper to share a place than it is to rent a student accommodation.
Yeah. It's one of those things. It's the age-old thing of like, right. So can I get a mortgage, please? By paying £500 a month. No, you can't afford that. Okay, but you can rent this place for £750 a month. But you just said I couldn't afford the £500.
Exactly.
Really frustrating.
I've done many different calculators on like many mortgage sites, and they're like, no, you can't afford anything. And it's like, but I'm going to be paying like £500 a month for my own place.
Yes. So I've just got to put this in there. I actually looked at this myself 20 years ago, living by myself, and getting a mortgage on what I earned at the time. And I talked to my mate who was a mortgage advisor, and he laughed at me. So at least he was honest. Right. So larger events, most significant life events. So weddings, funerals, wakes, 30 people. Indoor events of 1,000 people or 50% capacity. So this is what possibly Connor and other people are most excited about is gigs. Be able to go see a band again, maybe. which I'm also excited about. Outdoor events with 4,000 people, so we might see some smaller festivals get off the ground. Large seated outdoor venues, 10,000 people. So that kind of covers football stadiums, rugby matches, the whole shebang.
But can I just jump in there and say
I was
indoor
about to
events
say,
of 1,000 people, but you can't meet up, but you can only meet up with one other household.
yeah, I know, it's weird, isn't it?
No sense.
Oh, Adam. Hello, Adam. We can go back to watching the Saints play. Adam, because you've just had a new baby, I don't think you're going to be allowed out ever again until the baby's old enough to actually go to see the Saints play. And you can get those special headphones. But yeah, so I think that's an important thing. But yeah, there is this issue with the government messaging, I think, like, as you've said. So I'm only allowed to meet one family, but I can meet 999 different households at another event. I think, to be honest, if everybody just uses their common sense a little bit, I know this is asking a lot. we can get through this. And Michael said, families will rent a place, pool their money together for the deposit, all move in, pool the money together, and repeat. You're right. You are right. That's what they do. These houses of multiple occupancy, and it's money dependent. That's what it all comes down to. And hold on. Now,
I was
Cardiff,
thinking the exact same thing.
just make sure all your friends have tickets to the same gig, and it's a loophole. She's nailed it. Right, now you are the new health secretary. I'm nominating you as the new health secretary. But don't give all your contracts to your mates now, okay? Because weirdly, I just sent a Facebook request by accident to Matt Hancock today, and he offered me 3 different contracts of multi-million pounds. It was really weird. He didn't really. That's a joke I stole off someone else. And then travel, domestic overnight stays, and international travel subject to review. So now you're in Cardiff. I mean, technically, Wales could go, "Now we're international now. None of you English people are coming in." And Ireland could do the same for the Six Nations. They go, "No, we're quitting the Six Nations here. We've now won. We're not allowing anyone else to come play rugby in our country. That's it. We are Six Nation champions forever." I'm just reading too much into that, aren't I? And then step 4. So no earlier than 21st of June. Remaining businesses, including nightclubs. Social contact, no legal limit. Large events, no legal limit on live events, but other large events will be subject to review. And yeah, that's when we're all back to normal. So in those 4 steps, those 4 meandering, I must not step on this person's toes, let me step over this, let me do the tango type steps, how are we both feeling about that?
I can't wait.
Yeah.
And all I'm going to say, I know this is based in England, but if America takes the same way, this is just going to base me. WWE can have fans again, and the show can be good.
To be honest, Richard, if you put this idea to most of America, they'll shoot you for being a communist. To be honest, America is a shining example of how not to do something, and how not to do something is privatize healthcare. I think is the main issue there. I mean, it's weird being European and watching it, because it's like, why would you just let people die? It's just, can you call an ambulance, please? A dog has just bitten off my foot. Do you have insurance? No, sorry. Crawl your way and do it yourself. But we're generally feeling positive, yeah? Is that what we're saying about this whole step-by-step process? I think there's a lot of positivity there that we can take from what the government has said. for a change. I think some positivity from what the government have planned out. It's a bit weird.
From what we've been reading,
what we've been told, and what we've been reading,
what we've been told for the past year, is this elated everyone. I bet when they first read this, like, so we can start counting down till I can meet my friends. I can go back to this. We can go watch this. I'm waiting for the cinemas to open. Me and my friend has like 4 movies we want to watch, and we just can't watch them.
And it doesn't matter what that movie is. You just want to watch something on the big screen and eat popcorn. Is that what it is?
I don't really like popcorn that much, to be honest.
You know, my sister didn't like popcorn until I introduced her to you can get like packs of popcorn that you can pop yourself, you put in the microwave, and she loves it now. That's the only thing she'll eat. She refuses to eat anything else.
Why in the mic? Just make them yourself. That's what
Exactly.
I do. I always put too much in. Like Sorry, say it, Richard, again.
The last time I had popcorn, I didn't like it, so.
When was that? Your taste buds change as you get older.
Also, that was like 2 years ago. I haven't had any since.
I'm just going to put this. Adam, Breaking Bad would have been really rubbish if Walt had been able to get his cancer treatment by the NHS. Breaking Bad, one of the most acclaimed series ever. The beginning would have been, oh, okay. And then no episode after that. Right, so we've got the step-by-step plan. As youth workers, we're looking at this in a positive light for young people about what we're going to do. Myself, I'm looking at it positively because I'll be allowed to come out myself. But that doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing a lot of the online stuff I do, because it's still it's become part of what we do each week, isn't it, really? With young people coming on, guests from other organisations, and plans of expanding what we're doing. But there's a few things that so the Public Health England conference yesterday that you can watch on Free2talk CIC or our YouTube channel. We had a doctor talking about vaccinations, and you found this, Parker, this information. Do you want to go through it?
Yeah, I can't really see it properly. Let me there we go. It's basically just when they plan to vaccinate everybody else. So basically, they're planning to vaccinate everybody else by July. But they're stopping. We're going back to normal in June. But it still means you got so many millions of people that haven't been vaccinated yet, which I've seen that argument a lot online. So again, I'm still a bit like anxious and weary of everything, but I mean, you can only do what you can do.
Yeah,
I think this is probably why people that I've read on the internet is like, this is too early, because from what we're saying here, it will only be 40 to 49, then 50 odd once they've all been vaccinated. Then after that, it will be them.
I mean, I should point out. Obviously, I spoke about my family friend who died at age 57 last week of coronavirus. But the data does say that over 65s are the most at risk group, and I think we should point out that this vaccination for these age groups are the age groups that have no health issues. Right, so it's general vaccination, so it's general immunity, and these age groups are the least at risk of long-term issues from coronavirus. Okay, but we have this thing called long COVID, don't we? Which has struck down a few people that have been on the news, that have read about it. It's affecting someone I know as well, horribly. She caught coronavirus early on, like five months ago, and has had long COVID ever since. So there are unforeseen health issues for coronavirus as well in certain instances where people you consider can be completely healthy and fit. So are we still like, we're opening up everything too early, we should vaccinate everybody before we get back to some kind of normality? Is that what we're thinking?
I think it'd be safer to. Like, I know having the vaccine doesn't stop you getting it or passing it on, but I think it'd be safer to maybe integrate the sense of normality a little bit longer, make the whole process longer. Like, don't stop what they're already doing, but spread it over a longer period of time. Because it's like they're not going to vaccinate in terms of whether they're an essential worker or not, which I personally disagree with, because if you're an essential worker, you're coming into contact with more people.
Yeah, on a regular basis. Yeah.
So it's like people who work in shops, youth workers like ourselves.
I mean, this brings up an interesting point. Okay, is just basing anything that we do purely on someone's age? Should we just chuck that in the bin? That idea?
Yes and no. Like, I can kind of see why they've done it. But I think it should be a case of, if you're an essential worker, then maybe work down in age. Because as you get older, your immune system changes. So I can see that point. But I still think essential workers should still.
I mean, I've got to throw a bit of a stereotype in here. I mean, how many, should we say, older women work on checkouts in supermarkets? You know, it just might be a job they've had for quite a while. So they're, because of their age and they're waiting for retirement, they're most at risk, aren't they? So let's get them done first, because they're zipping through that checkout line and seeing 1,000 people a day. There's a huge risk for them there, isn't there?
I'm just going to point something out.
Yeah.
The bottom one says 18 to 29. Does that mean I have to wait 2 years to get vaccinated?
Yes. So the reason being, yeah. So the reason being is from stuff that's been reported is those under the age of 18 are the risk to them is minuscule. There's only very rare cases where coronavirus has caused severe health issues, I think. But that is something I want to save for a later Free2talk TV event where we get loads of young people on and we talk about it in full. Would you be up for that, Richard?
Mate, I have nothing to do on Friday, so
I like.
Right,
yeah, I only came on
me.
your stream, James, because I had nothing to do. I was just
Right now,
bored.
me will be just like this, feet up, just watching the darts, just having a score. That's literally going to be me right now.
Yeah, your love of darts is just—I still think it's astronomical.
Darts and wrestling.
Right, so I've just got one last thing to bring up before we go through things that have made us smile this week. So I've just got this up. So students in England, this is from the Northampton Cron, won't have to wear masks at school, but it's highly recommended. Look at these good lads wearing their mask, and properly, I should add. Not like down here or anything. They've really got a good photo there. So we touched on this right at the beginning, that it's still a good idea to wear masks, really. I mean, Richard, at college, when you go in, will you wear a mask still?
Yes.
Just be honest. Yes? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah?
With the college, it's still mandatory. I think this is what it's aiming at, is secondary schools. They're going to be getting tested. Like, I think it was like 3 times a week, I remember, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like what they're going to do is, if you test negative, you don't have to wear a mask because you don't have it. But what about your teachers that could still get it?
Yeah.
If they get tested, are they going to not wear a mask?
I mean, right. So my dad was a teacher. He's retired now. My sister is a tutor in a college, right? And in that educational setting, if you give coronavirus to a teacher, not only if they've got health problems, can obviously they die, but if you give coronavirus to a teacher and it's just a normal coronavirus situation. They still have to go into isolation for 2 weeks, don't they? Who's going to cover that teacher's work?
Well, what happened to me, like, when I returned back to college after health issues, my English teacher came into contact with it. So he had to self-isolate for 2 weeks. So the plan, what we did was, students at the school, teacher at home, and we just do video conference like what we knew, but we just swapped roles.
Yeah,
and we just have like a teacher just looking over it.
There's ways around it. Right, I'm just going to bring up Michael's last comment. It's a bit of an oversimplification, but measles used to have the ability to kill. Now it's been practically eradicated in terms of a death toll in the West. With vaccinations, almost, I'd say. Time of patience could be key. Unfortunately, it's an instant gratification society we live in now, looking for immediate responses, which is not always the way to go. Anyway, on a brighter note, we're going to do what we always do. So if anybody else in the chat want to add this in as well, at the end of the stream, we always share something that's made us happy this week, something fun, something interesting, whatever takes our fancy. So Parker, what do you want to share?
I washed my dog today and he did not like it, but he went absolutely hyper afterwards. It was nice weather. He's a water dog that doesn't like water. His breed is used in water rescue, but he won't even walk into a puddle. But we washed him. He looked very funny. And he was absolutely hyper and then ended up just getting even more muddier than what he already was.
I love dogs. I still love cats more, but I love dogs. I love all animals. Can I have pets of every animal, please? Can I have a giant Noah's Ark, which I just fill of pets? Can that be done?
I'll get out to someone.
Right, Richard, what was your cool thing? What have you liked?
You kind of mentioned it before. I got 50 followers on Twitch, which was out of nowhere.
Yeah, I know. I think that's amazing. You two have 50 followers on Twitch. You've just been doing that one wrestling game, but obviously people want to watch people playing it, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, for people that just found out, I've been streaming for 10, 11 days now. James has been streaming for 4 or 5 months.
No, it hasn't been that long. Not on Twitch. I've only been on Twitch since just before Christmas. Thank you.
Okay, 4 months. And I've been streaming for 10 days.
3 months.
I still beat you in 10 days. I beat you in 50 followers in 10 days.
I know, it's amazing. I'm really proud of you, mate. I think it's going excellent. We're talking about Twitch because Richard does this every time. If you want to follow us on Twitch, please come and help us. We're trying to get to a stage where. Sorry, what?
Let's have a look. Keep talking. I'll have a look.
Yeah, sorry. We're trying to get to a stage where we get affiliate status, and what that will mean is the channel will start generating a little bit of income, and then that income can go straight back to the charity. Parker helps on it as well. Has a little chat. We just play games and have a bit of fun, don't we, Richard? Really, I think City of Thieves is the funnest one we do, apart from last Monday where we just couldn't kill that boss. But we're just idiots on it, aren't we? We're just idiot pirates. We are the worst pirates on it. We haven't pirated anybody yet. We just keep getting sunk by other pirates. Michael, your comment, I'm not going to show it because you used a little swear word, but I'm so glad that the bars are open for you. It's being 7 hours ahead. God, I'm jealous. So my fun thing is a bit different for me. So it has been LGBT History Month, and I learned yesterday because I've been doing loads of reading. I talked about the 4 lesbian women that stormed Parliament in protest in the 80s by abseiling into it, which is still, I think, my favourite story. But this is the story about Sally Ride, who became the first American woman in space in 1983. But who admitted in later years she kept this completely quiet as a part of her personal life. She's also the first LGBT American astronaut in space. Sally Ride, check it out. She died in 2012, I think it was. Yes.
Yeah, July 23rd.
Yeah, but it was only before that she spoke about her experiences of being a woman in NASA for starters, but as in a later stage talking about being a lesbian in NASA as well. But I just think I think it's a cool story. I just like, because I mean she didn't tell anyone really until later. I think it was 2008 she came out with it, I think. Which is still recent, but not that it's still recent and a long time ago. But I think there's this disconnect with people think the 80s, that's when I was born, is still like modern, but it's not. like for a lot of attitudes that we may have. So yes, do check out Sally Ride. There is an interview that she does with her partner Tam O'Shaughnessy. Her name was O'Shaughnessy. It's a cool name. In the background, which I do recommend watching. Actually, Parker, go check it out. It's really good. It's a good science talk. Actually, I just like science. But yeah, thank you to those that have watched and joined us and commented. And Michael, so happy for you to get your comments going whilst in Thailand. That's wicked for you to show us a bit of the teaching stuff that you're doing out there. Thanks to Adam and Nell for coming in the chat as well. And thank you, Parker, and thank you, Richard. So obviously I've only mentioned this about 87 times on the stream, but it is my birthday next week. I'm not going to be here, but Free to Talk TV will be continuing with Parker, Richard, and Charlotte. And any other guests they may get, or anyone you can drag onto the stream, really. So
I will try my best.
Do your best. It's what I have to do, Parker. So some people have to drag people on, apart from you, helpful people. Right, but say bye to the stream, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, stream. Bye.